Okay, let's get into this. So usually for one of these deep dives, we're looking at a huge stack of articles or maybe a new book.
Right, or some dense scientific paper.
Exactly.
Well,
But
great.
today is different. We are going incredibly meta. We're not analyzing a story about technology. We're analyzing a tool for technology.
A single document. It's a bit of an unusual one for us, I'll admit. We're not looking at a narrative, really, but at the construction of a narrative.
Yeah. The file is called 5-Minute Voice Training for AI.docs. And here's the kicker. It's dated for today.
Tuesday, January 27, 2026.
Wild.
And if you just open this and read it, it would look like a monologue, maybe a bit of a rambling one at that.
For sure.
But this document is actually, it's like a piece of reverse engineering. It's a stress test. A linguistic obstacle course designed to bridge that huge, awkward gap between robotic speech and human conversation.
That's what totally hooked me. We're sitting here, two humans, reading a script written to teach a machine how to sound like us.
It's a little strange.
It feels like looking in a mirror, but the mirror is a computer screen trying to figure out how to smile without looking, creepy.
Right.
But before we get into the weeds, I have to ask, why does this even matter? We've had Siri and Alexa for, over a decade now? They talk. So why do we need a specific training script like this in 2026?
Well, because there's a world of difference between intelligible and human. We're moving way past just command and response.
Like set a timer for 10 minutes.
Exactly. We're entering an era where AI is narrating audiobooks, handling complex, empathy calls for customer service, or being a real-time translator. For those things, a flat robotic voice doesn't just sound bad. It breaks trust.
Okay, so this script is about building that trust.
It's designed to test if the machine can handle the nuance required to do that.
So our mission for this deep dive is to figure out how it does that. We're going to look under the hood of this thing and find out why the author mentions, fried shrimp and quantum computers in the same 5 minutes.
Because that mix, which seems random, is actually a brilliant engineering test. It's all about range.
The mundane and the magnificent.
Yeah, a synthetic voice has to handle both without breaking character. This is a crash course in linguistics, touching on everything from phonetic range to something called emotional prosody.
Speaking of character, let's introduce the narrator.
Hmm?
The persona is a guy named Kent Harris.
Kent Harris from Houston, Texas.
I love that immediate specificity.
Well, grounding is essential. If you want an AI to sound human, you have to give it a context. So the script starts with the weather. It's 73 degrees, partly cloudy.
A light breeze from the southeast, which, for Houston, is probably the one nice day all year.
Probably. But look what that does for the voice. It forces a casual, observational tone. You can't read light breeze with, high-octane urgency. It demands a relaxed cadence.
And then Kent takes us on a trip. He talks about driving out to Galveston last weekend.
Yeah.
And this is where the sensory details just pop for me.
Yeah.
He mentions the waves, the seagulls, and, this is the best part, the smell. That familiar salty air mixed with sunscreen and fried shrimp.
That sentence is a trap.
A trap? How? It just sounds like a nice memory.
It's a technical trap. It's testing the AI's ability to do something we call semantic linking.
Okay.
Salty air, sunscreen, fried shrimp. Those are 3 really different things. A robotic voice might just list them. Salty air, sunscreen, fried shrimp.
Like a grocery list.
Exactly. But a human blends them into one single memory of the beach. The intonation shouldn't reset. It needs to flow.
I see. It's painting a picture, and then he goes to Guido's, I'm assuming that's a real place, and orders the crab-stuffed flounder.
With hush puppies and coleslaw.
I'm getting hungry just reading this thing. But then, right after this amazing description, we get hit with a receipt. The bill came to $48.75.
And this is the receipt test. And honestly, this is one of the hardest things for text-to-speech, a TTS engine, to get right.
Wait, hold on. You're losing me? It's numbers. Computers are literally built for numbers. Why is saying $48.75 so hard?
Because computers are good at calculating numbers, not saying them in a sentence. This gets into a concept called inverse text normalization, or ITN.
Inverse text normalization. That sounds intense.
It's simpler than it sounds. When an AI sees symbols, it has to convert them to words, but the context changes everything. If I show you the text 1998, how do you say it?
Well, if it's a year, I say 1998. If it's, I don't know, a number of things, I say 1998.
Exactly. Or what if it's a PIDN? Then it's 1998. The symbol is identical. The AI has to infer the pronunciation from the words around it.
Okay.
So now look at the script. $48.75. A human could say 48.75 or even nearly 50 bucks, but the script forces the formal expansion, $48.75.
So it's testing if the AI knows the dollar sign means dollars, but that the word goes after the 48 even though the symbol is first.
Precisely. And it has to do it without changing its tone. This is the danger zone. We call it the accounting mode shift.
The what?
You don't want your storyteller, who is just describing this amazing flounder, to suddenly sound like a bank teller. It just breaks the immersion instantly.
Right. If the voice changes, you remember you're listening to a robot.
And that's exactly what they're trying to avoid. And speaking of shifting modes, the script takes a massive left turn right after dinner.
Oh yeah, this part gave me whiplash. We go from flounder to a history lesson on technology. Kent starts comparing the then and now, flip phones, dial-up.
Which says a nostalgic, kind of reflective tone, slower pacing, softer vowels.
And then he pivots to 2026. He's talking about AI assistants, self-driving cars, get this, quantum computers solving problems that would take classical supercomputers thousands of years.
This tests the time travel contrast, but more importantly, it's testing the engine's ability to handle complex technical jargon, or what we call out-of-vocabulary terms.
Like quantum computers.
Well, quantum isn't too hard, but think about how an AI learns to speak. It uses a process called grapheme-to-phone conversion, G to P. It looks at letters and guesses the sounds.
Like hooked on phonics for robots.
Basically. But English is a nightmare for that. Think of read versus read, or rough versus through.
Oh, right.
So now, throwing classical supercomputers, the AI needs to articulate classical clearly with crisp consonants to contrast it with quantum. It's checking if the AI can handle dense information without stumbling.
And then, just to ramp it up even more, Kent drops some huge news. Apparently, in this script's reality, the Perseverance rover found signs of ancient life on Mars.
Organic molecules preserved in rocks that are about 3.7 billion years old.
That is massive. I mean, casually dropping the discovery of alien life in a voice training script. But why? Why include a fake news story about Mars rocks?
It serves a very specific purpose. This tests gravitas.
Gravitas.
Yeah. The script says, if confirmed, that would be one of the biggest discoveries in human history.
So the AI has to sound excited.
More than excited. It has to convey weight. There's a difference between being excited about hush puppies and being excited about life on Mars.
Right.
The script is checking if the synthetic voice can distinguish between, yum and wow. If it uses the same enthusiastic pitch for the shrimp as it does for alien life, it sounds psychopathic.
I love shrimp, and we are not alone in the universe. Definitely require different vibes.
Exactly. So we've proved the AI can read like a scientist and order dinner. But can it act? The next section stops testing the brain and starts testing the virtual muscles. I call it the physicality check.
This part felt like an acting class warm-up, a rapid-fire list of questions.
The question drill!
What time is your flight leaving tomorrow? Where did you park the car? Why hasn't the package arrived?
In linguistics, this is all about prosody, the melody of speech, specifically something called terminal contours.
Terminal contours. Sounds like a disease.
It just means what your voice does at the end of a sentence. In English, we have a rule we don't even think about. For a yes or no question, my voice goes up. Are you hungry?
Yes. Okay, I hear that. It goes up.
But for a why question, who, what, where, why, the pitch usually goes down or stays flat. Where did you park the car?
Where did you park the car? Huh. You're right. It does go down.
The AI has to parse the grammar to know which melody to use. If it gets the melody wrong, the question sounds sarcastic or just confused.
And then comes the Houston BBQ debate. Which barbecue joint in Houston has the best brisket killins, Franklin's, or maybe corkscrew?
That's a trick question for a machine. It's full of proper nouns. The AI has to recognize killins as a name, not a word like killings, and it has to list them with the cadence of choices. Option A, option B, or option C.
Then we jump from questions to exclamations. The script explicitly says this is for energy and emphasis.
Right, from a beautiful sunset over the Gulf to the relief of finishing a kitchen remodel. 6 long months.
Notice the emotional shift there. A sunset is awe. A finished kitchen is relief and exhaustion.
And then, boom, a sudden warning. Watch out, that truck is backing up way too fast.
That's the urgency test. Can the voice go from 0 to 60 instantly? Can it simulate an adrenaline spike?
It has to. It does it by increasing volume, sharpening the consonants, and upping the speaking rate all at once. If it reads, watch out, With the same calm as "the sunset was nice," you, the listener, get run over by the truck.
It's like a jump scare in text form. And speaking of things that trip you up, the tongue twisters.
Ah, the articulation challenge.
This is where the rubber really meets the road.
The classics are all here. She sells seashells, Peter Piper.
And those are standard for a reason. They test sibilants.
Sibilants.
The S and sounds. They're high-frequency sounds. And in bad audio or low-quality AI voices, they distort. They become these harsh hisses that hurt your ears. A good AI has to keep the S crisp, but not piercing. But then they're the ones that felt like system breakers. Red Lorry, yellow Lorry. The script says to repeat it 5 times fast. I tried this before we started.
How'd that go?
Okay, I'll try it now. Red Lorry, yellow Lorry. Red lolly, yellow lolly. Red Lorry. Yeah, no, can't do it.
See? You just experienced phone collision.
Is that the technical term for my tongue gave up?
Essentially, yes. It's when the mouth shape for one sound is too similar to the next one, and you can't transition fast enough. The R and L sounds are complex. For an AI, this tests co-articulation.
Co-articulation.
It's the idea that we don't say one letter at a time. We're already preparing our mouths for the next sound while we're saying the current one. If an AI just generates sounds one by one, it fails this test. It has to flow.
And unique New York.
Vowel shifting. Unique uses a long U and E. New York uses a different U and O. It's just making sure the AI doesn't slur them into a muddy mess.
Okay, so the AI has somehow survived the tongue twisters. Now we get to the data crunch.
Yeah.
There's a whole paragraph here that's just numbers. It felt like reading a spreadsheet.
The precision and flow section.
It starts simple, 0 to 20, but then it just throws wildly different formats at you. 112, 12,999.
Right, and we touched on this with the receipt, but this part ramps up the difficulty with dates. It lists January 27, 2026, then 01272026, and then the ISO format, 2026-0127.
Okay, be honest. If I'm listening to an audiobook and the robot reads 2026-01-27, I'm turning it off.
Exactly, and that's the test. A smart AI model looks at 2026-0127 and knows that in a narrative, it should be read as January 27th, 2026.
It has to translate the format into natural speech. And 9:49 a.m. CST.
It needs to know CST is Central Standard Time. It's an acronym expansion test. If it says cost, it fails.
It really is a minefield. And right after that, the script asks the AI to relax skin with these longer flowing sentences.
This is the breath control section.
The scenario is a commute on I-10. Anyone from Houston knows this pain. Construction near Beltway 8.
And the sentence is so complex. Although traffic was heavy, I still managed to get to the office, grab a coffee, and start working.
It goes on and on. Why does that matter? Robots don't need to breathe.
No, but listeners expect them to. If a voice talks for 45 seconds without a pause, you, the human listener, start to feel anxious. It tests the prosodic arc.
The what?
A human voice keeps the pitch slightly suspended until the very end to signal I'm not done yet. If the AI drops its pitch too early, the sentence just sounds chopped up and weird.
Okay, let's get back to the good stuff. Food. We had the shrimp, but now Kent Harris wants to talk brisket.
And this section is explicitly labeled in the source text. It says, food descriptions help with varied vowel sounds and consonants.
The description is intense. Fat cap on top, salt and coarse black pepper. 225 degrees for 12 to 16 hours.
See those words? Coarse, pepper. They're textured words.
And the phrase jiggles like gelatin.
That's a mouthfeel phrase. But here's the secret sauce. Duration modeling.
Duration modeling.
When humans describe something delicious, we subconsciously slow down, we elongate the vowels. You'd say, that brisket is tender. You don't say, that brisket is tender.
So the AI has to vary its speed inside the sentence.
Yes. If it keeps a constant beat, it sounds like it's reading a technical manual about meat. But if it slows down on jiggles and gelatin, it sounds like it's actually remembering a meal.
Slice it against the grain. Serve on a warm flour tortilla with pickles, onions, and a side of jalapeno cheddar cornbread.
It's a list, but it's a savory composition. The intonation should be building a picture of the perfect plate.
I honestly forgot we were analyzing a robot script for a second there. I just wanted lunch.
And that is the ultimate victory for the scriptwriter. If the content distracts you from the medium, the training is working.
Finally, the script wraps up by bringing us back to Houston weather.
But it's not just the stats this time. It's the contrast between misery and beauty.
True. Kent complains about summer. Heat indices above 110. Humidity makes your shirt stick to your back.
That requires a tone of complaint, a little grit in the voice.
But then the pivot. But spring is magical.
And the voice has to lift. It has to lighten up.
Blue bonnets carpet the highways. Indian paintbrush dots the fields. The air smells like fresh-cut grass after a rain.
That final image, fresh cut grass, is a sensory anchor. It leaves you with a positive feeling. It's testing if the AI can do a soft landing at the end of a monologue.
And then the fourth wall breaks. The character of Ken Harris just fades away.
I think this should give your voice software plenty of material to work with.
He tells the user to record the passages at different speeds. Slower, excited, calm.
Which confirms this whole thing is a multi-tool. It's not one story, it's a set of variables.
So when we step back and look at this whole document, from receipts to tongue twisters to Mars rocks, what are we really seeing?
We're seeing the blueprint of a synthetic personality, an attempt to quantify what makes speech human. And it's not just about pronouncing words correctly.
Right.
It's co-articulation, terminal contours, inverse text normalization, duration modeling. It's the rhythm of a joke, the hesitation of a question, the slowness of describing food.
It's incredible. We started with a simple text file and found this whole training regimen for synthetic life.
And it brings us right back to that uncanny valley idea. We are standing right on the edge of it, teaching machines not just to speak, but to perform.
It raises a fascinating and maybe a little unsettling question about the future.
What's that?
Well, here's the thought I want to leave everyone with. We've spent this time analyzing how this script helps a machine fake it. It helps it fake the frustration of traffic. It helps it fake the taste of brisket it can never eat. It helps it fake the awe of a discovery it doesn't actually understand.
It's all simulation based on data, yeah.
But if the simulation gets this specific, if an AI can perfectly replicate the jiggle of gelatin in its voice, or the heaviness of humidity, at what point does the simulation of an experience become indistinguishable from the memory of one?
That is the big question. If the output is identical, does the internal process even matter?
Exactly. If the voice is perfect, does the lack of a body even matter? Something to chew on, maybe over a plate of imaginary BBQ. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
See you next time.